Welcome to this edition of On the Scene. I'm your host, Tim Kelly. On today's program, we're talking fall, and in particular, one of the great fall events here in the city of Suffolk, the Suffolk Peanut Festival. We'll have a great preview. We'll also be talking about fall lawn and garden care, kind of how to take care of your lawn, maybe some things, projects you want to do out there in the lawn and garden that really can help spruce up your property and or get things ready for spring. So stay tuned. Welcome back to On the Scene. We're out here at the Suffolk Executive Airport to talk about one of the best events in the city of Suffolk year-round. It's going to be the 36th Annual Suffolk Peanut Festival. It's going to be held October 10th through the 13th. And join us today are co-chairs for this year's event. We have Jack Brinkley and Butch Twyford. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, let's kick it off and talk about this year's theme. And I think what's on top of both your heads has something to do with it. So whoever wants to tell us what the theme is and how y'all are bringing that into Peanut Fest, the 36th edition.
All right. Our theme this year is boot scooting, shell crushing, good time. And we have everyone that we want them to come in and wear their Western wear, their boots and hats or whatever they would like to wear. We're going to have a Western theme this year.
Good deal. Now, of course, entertainment's always one of the big draws here for the Peanut Festival, and I think this year the theme really fits what you have bringing in here. So if you talk about just some of the entertainment and, again, the connection with that theme we have this year.
All right.
Okay.
You want to take that, Jack?
Well, we got the guy that won the X Factor this past year, Tate Stevens, will be here on Sunday.
Right.
We got an old band from way back when, Sawyer Brand, that'll be here.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people are excited about them coming, I think.
Right.
And a number of different bands, you know, to open for them
Right.
and stuff like that. And it's really going to be good. It's going to be exciting.
Good deal. Now, of course, with the music, you have a lot of fun. You obviously got a lot of food out here. So, again, just talk about some of the things that maybe between the two of you, what you look forward to the most with Peanut Festival each year, some of the special things that everybody comes back saying, I want to be there for that. What would that be?
Well, really, it's the people that are all volunteers
Sure,
that,
right.
that work here, and this is our chance that we all get together and work together and have a good time.
Right.
And it's amazing what volunteers can do.
Sure. And, of course, this event really doesn't happen, as you said, without the volunteers. I mean,
Right.
that's the force that really
Right.
drives this thing.
Right.
You see
Yeah.
everybody on their golf carts, walking around doing, of course, that's the stuff you see during the event. You're not even talking about the stuff setting everything up. Obviously, y'all are planning about a year in advance to get this thing to happen.
Right.
Everything's coming together, got to get the schedules together and run this thing like a really tight ship, and it always goes off really well every year. Now, this year, I believe we have a new event coming in that we hadn't had before, right?
Right.
What is that gonna be?
We've worked on that, and it's ATV mud bog. And we've talked with a lot of the volunteers. They're really excited about it.
Sure.
And also anyone we talked to out there, they just said, great. They said they'll be looking forward to seeing that. Be something new.
Now, what's it going to mean? What is a mud ball?
All right.
What happens during
All right. Well, we actually got there's several facets to it. We got
Sure.
some for the kiddies. It's a kiddie run.
Right.
And then there's an obstacle course and also the adult. Well, not adult. I mean, it can be adult.
Right.
It's teenagers and all. It's
Sure.
And it's put on by a group that's called Team Deep. And we watched them at one of the other fairs,
Right.
and we really had a good time.
Now, you riding on something, or you running?
Yeah,
What do you
ATV,
do? Okay, yeah.
It's four-wheelers.
Okay.
And they're going into the mud,
Sure.
and hopefully they come back out of it. Some of
With
it's
the
very
ATV,
deep,
right?
Oh yeah, with the ATV and
Don't
not
wanna
just
leave
by
it behind.
themselves.
I got you.
Right.
Now, do you have to bring your own, or is that going to be provided on
No,
site?
they bring their own.
They do? Okay,
Yeah, they actually
okay.
register.
Yeah.
They have applications on the website.
All right,
And,
okay.
we want everyone to register.
And when is
them
that
on.
taking place? What day?
That's all right. That's on Saturday at 12 noon. It
Okay.
starts. That's when the kiddie will start.
Got it.
That's
And how
like
long
at
does that
12.
run? You say you start about noon. I know you got a couple different. You talk about the different age divisions, so to speak, but
I'm
Couple hours? I mean,
at
I'm
least
thinking-
at least
yeah.
there's 2-3 hours.
Okay.
Is what
you know, again, just getting you guys to reflect a little bit. What's your favorite food item that you have out here every year? I mean, everybody's got their favorite. Everybody comes looking for a certain thing. You're chuckling, so we're going to start with you, Jack.
Well, there's a guy that's been coming out here for years and years, just as long as we've been out here volunteering,
Right.
Polish sausage.
Okay.
Love those, seafood,
Right.
ice cream. It's just everybody, most of these people, most of these bundles have come for
Right,
years and
right.
years. and they always come back.
And you got different price points too, because I mean, you
Right.
got
Oh,
some,
yeah.
hamburgers, hot dogs, working its
That's
way
right.
up to. I've always seen the the Henry VIII chicken leg thing walking
Right.
around that you see.
Right, yeah.
You can tackle that. More power to you there. But Butch, what do you think? What's the thing you look forward to the most?
Seafood.
Uh-huh.
I love the seafood that they have. It's really good. One of our favorite seafood vendors is one of my best. I don't want to mention.
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
okay. We'll look
But,
for it while we're out
We're
here.
looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
we just believe me, we're looking forward to it.
Good deal. All right. Well, again, the co-chairs for this year's Peanut Festival. We're going to take a short little break and come back with the publicity chairperson, Teresa Earls, when we return. Well, welcome back to On the Scene. Of course, we're joined by a young lady that you've seen on our program many a time, Teresa Earls, and of course, you like to wear many hats, so
Yeah,
we'll
this goes
tie that
well.
into this segment. Of course, Teresa, of course, usually is talking about the great events going on with Suffolk Tourism, but
Yes.
Peanut Fest ties directly into that, so
Absolutely.
we're not too far off there. And of course, she serves as the publicity chairperson out here for the Suffolk Peanut Fest. And Teresa, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Now look, we already spent some time talking about some of the nuts and the bolts and the
Mm-hmm.
great entertainment, the great theme, and everything's going to tie
Yes.
together. Take us from there, and again, maybe someone who hasn't been to Peanut Fest before,
Sure.
maybe what you're going to experience when you come out here.
Well, first of all, it's 4 days. Most festivals, you get a day, you get 2 days,
Right.
and there's just not enough to soak it in. So you get 4 days of nonstop entertainment, whether it's music or carnival rides, horseshoe competition. We have a peanut butter sculpting contest. I mean, who has that,
Right.
really? Let's be realistic. But this is a family-friendly event. It's inexpensive. I know that we've talked about parking being $10. A family of 4 to 6 people for
Right.
$10, it's unheard of.
Right.
Pack them in the car, bring them here. You can spend all day. There's lots of fast food, whether you want a hot dog or you want a turkey leg, or, there's ice cream and just fun stuff. It's your typical fast food. Of course, I'm partial to funnel cakes,
Sure.
because who isn't? Just don't walk into the wind with the powdered sugar,
There you go.
let me tell you.
Redecorate there.
Yeah, I've done that before. But you have something to do constantly, and we have all these concerts of national performers, and they're free.
Right.
Once you get in, you're in. We have arts and crafts, so you can go through and you can purchase things. You can admire, people's real, true handiwork. We have a commercial tent, so if you're looking for a specific contractor or a business person, or sometimes it's jewelry,
Right.
there's something for everyone. And you can spend literally 4 days out here.
And of
I
course-
know, I do.
And we get fireworks. I mean,
We do.
Again, all the great rides and everything taking place out here, all the unique events that are going on.
Yes.
We've already mentioned the Swamp Bog things going on, but you also have Demolition Derby.
We do have a demolition
That's
derby,
right.
the nationwide demolition derby on Friday night at 6. And I've never seen so many people want to wreck their cars in my life. But it's a great time.
Right.
And the kids especially love it. And then
Sure.
the grown-up kids love it.
Of course.
And I know you talked about the ATV mud bog,
Right.
which is new for us. So
Right.
I'm really excited because it's going to be dirty and muddy and gross and
Right up your
awesome.
alley, right? Just what
Yeah,
you're looking.
I'm not exactly going to
Little
have
funnel
mud under
cake,
my
a little mud,
nails.
throw it all together. You got a good mix there. No, just kidding.
It'll be good. And then, of course, we have our Swamp Tour motorcycle
Right.
rally, which is, near and dear to my heart because it's a Suffolk tourism event.
Sure.
And this will be our 12th year. And that is a motorcycle rally that departs from Peanut Fest on Sunday morning and rides the perimeter of the Great Dismal Swamp. So we go through North Carolina and Chesapeake and back here for a reception. We have food and a DJ, and it's $20 a person. You get
Right.
a T-shirt, you get the reception, that sort of thing. And we usually get anywhere between 800 and 1,000 riders. So it's a wonderful event for us as well, and it's a great compliment to Peanut Fest. And you mentioned the fireworks.
Yes.
Lipton is our sponsor for the fireworks, and they do a tremendous job. The fireworks have gotten better and better every year. They're on Saturday night in between the entertainers, right before the headliner goes on.
Correct.
And that'll be Sawyer Brown this year, so we're very excited. I know they've been around for 35 years, but that just means they've just finally gotten it right.
They're named, so yeah. Now, of course, one thing about the entertainment that we hadn't covered yet, there's a kind of a new look to the
Yes.
to the setup for that. You want to talk a little bit about that?
We're super excited, along with keeping the country theme going,
Right.
and it's more country rock. We have to all understand country nowadays is more like pop.
Right.
But country, western, boot scoot and boogie, you know, that whole feeling. We are taking the stage to the next level. It's not going to be your flat traditional stage. It's more of a 3D feel. So we actually have a runway that comes through the crowd, so you can get even closer to the performers as they come out and they wave and they talk to you and maybe touch your hand. I don't know how lucky you're going to be. But it's a great opportunity. Plus, you know, Sawyer Brown's been playing for years. And then Tate Stevens, who just won X Factor, Simon Cowell's show. So, you know, as picky as that man is, Tate Stevens is amazing. He really, the new Garth Brooks. He has taken that place of that old traditional kind of country spirit, but updated it. And I encourage anyone who has not heard of Tate Stevens to go on YouTube and look for him, because he's amazing. And he's just a genuine, you know, country person at heart, and he takes care of his family, and he sings really well. He's a cutie patootie. Everybody will love him.
A little bonus there. But you know, one of the unique things about Peanut Festival is the fact that there's something for everyone. Truly is for this.
Absolutely.
Every year, of course, you have from the kids to no matter how old you go up to come out here and have a good time. Again, you mentioned the food, the entertainment, everything. They have the great exhibit as far as when you come in one of the entrances with Suffolk Public Schools.
Absolutely.
And of course, Suffolk Public Schools has a big presence out here with some of the kids coming out, I believe, on Friday.
Yep, we have kitty days, and there are times when we have senior bingo.
That's right.
There's something for all age groups, for all, you know, abilities as far as access. We do a lot. We have a chalk art contest through our Parks and Rec department. It really is a community-minded event. We raise money for Relay for Life. We're certainly trying to flush out cancer, so you may see a pink toilet rolling around. And there's a chance to win a prize if you want to donate and that sort of thing. So the idea is that this whole event embodies the spirit of the community. It's not just a time for you to come eat funnel cakes. It's a time for you to give back to the community and to do something that is a 36-year-old tradition, and if we're really honest about it, dates back to 1941 when we had the Harvest Fest. So this is something I consider Suffolk's premier festival, which is why it ties so nicely into tourism. So it's just a chance to get as many people out here as possible to really show off what Suffolk has to offer and have them coming back year after year.
I think the key word you said there is community. And definitely when you think about that, it definitely is what Suffolk's all about.
Exactly.
And of course, let's talk real quickly about a good contact phone number and website. People can go if they want to see more information, more details on the schedules.
Well, first of all, the Suffolk Peanut Fest website is suffolkfest.org. Not a com, it's an org, O-R-G. And then the telephone number is 757-539-6751. And of course, I'm going to do a shameless plug for myself. Our tourism site, which is suffolk-fund.com, has a link to all of that information as well. So you can find us at the Visitor Center 24 hours, not 24 hours, it feels like 24 hours. You can find us online 24 hours a day. But you can call us 7 days a week, 9 to 5, and there will always be someone here to answer your question. And then, of course, during the festival, you call the festival's main line and you can get a hold of somebody at the information booth throughout the event, which is also unheard of, really.
Exactly. Now, of course, one quick thing before we go, I want to go over one more time about the parking, I should say, not say ticket prices. You're not buying a ticket. You're getting access to the facility. You want to talk about that real quickly as we close? And
traditionally what we've done, and we're continuing to do it, you can get a parking pass for $10 a day. You pay at the entrance. Now you can also go by the Suffolk Visitor Center, or I believe we also have one other location which you can find on our website, where to purchase a 4-day pass, which is a decal you put in your window, and it's $20. So you're saving $20 essentially if you come all 4 days. And if you come in the gate and you decide you want to get the 4-day pass, you can go over to our information and pay the difference. So if you pay $10 again, you pay $10 to get your 4-day pass.
Teresa, thanks again for being with us. And of course, the dates are October 10th through the 13th here at the Suffolk Executive Airport. 36th Annual Suffolk Peanut Fest. Don't miss it. We'll have more on the scene when we return. Welcome back to On the Scene, joined now by Marcus Williams, who's an extension agent with the Virginia Cooperative Extension. And Marcus, thanks for being with us today.
Not a problem.
Of course, you notice we're outside, we're standing in a yard, so what are we talking about? We're talking about kind of yard maintenance and things as the fall and the winter seasons start coming upon us. Of course, autumn is already here. And Marcus, one of the big things to talk about is the stuff we're standing on top of right now, and that's your grass.
Definitely.
And of course, you know, we're out in the summer months, we're mowing, we're doing certain things, but as we transition from the warmer climate to more of the cool and cold temperatures we're going to be experiencing, what are some things we need to think about when it comes to getting this lawn to be in good shape, both to get us through the winter and get ready for spring?
Definitely, that's a good question. First, a lot of people are getting ready for their cool season grasses, which are your Kentucky, your fescue, and your rye. We're transitioning out of the warm season grasses into our cool season. So right about last month and this month are going to be the prime time that you're going to go in there and you're going to seed for your cool season grasses. Not to be forgotten, you also want to put in your pre-emergence. And what that does is it kind of helps your grass protect it against the cool season weeds that are going to come up.
Right.
Also, for your warm season grasses, you're transitioning, so you're going to be going into your post-emergence herbicides. And what that's going to control is that's going to control your clover down here.
Right.
And what post-emergence means is it's controlling something that's already actively growing. Now, a lot of people are worried about their grass dying out if they have warm season grass.
Right.
What a lot of people can do is they can overseed between this month and a little bit of next month.
Right.
They can overseed with a ryegrass. And with that ryegrass, it's going to give you continuous green throughout the winter months. But it's always a double-edged sword.
Of course.
Because with your ryegrass, when your summer grass starts to come back up, the winter grass, and if you got a really good stand of your winter grass,
Right.
it's going to be competing with your warm season grass that's
Right.
trying to come up. So it's kind of like a give and take.
Yeah.
Would you prefer a good stand next year?
Right.
Or a green lawn this year?
Right. So really one of the big things is to think about what you're trying to achieve. And I guess you got to kind of consider the short term and the long term to decide really the best plan of attack. You mentioned about the two grasses competing. I see this big
Definitely.
battle going on out here. But you know, as far as with doing that, any basic things when you're thinking about your lawn at this time of year, regardless of what type of grass, or anything that kind of covers everything of things you need to think about. I mean, I know during the summer you see everybody out watering, doing this and that, because everybody wants that lush green lawn. This time of year, again, we got the transition in temperatures, and it depends upon, I guess, how fast it's starting to get cold. You know, you sometimes get a little bit of warmness drifting on into October, so you never know. But any overreaching things to think about for maintaining your lawn and getting it set, again, it kind of covers a little bit of everything. Any tips that might fall into that category?
The best tip is, a lot of people see a lot of weeds in their yard.
Yeah.
The best tip to handle your weeds is to have a good stand.
Right.
If you have a good stand of grass, a thick stand of grass,
Yes.
the sun can't penetrate through and actually help those weeds germinate. So before you rush out and get those herbicides,
Right.
and you say, okay, I see a weed, let me hurry up
Right.
and get rid of it.
Right.
If you first start off with a good stand, that'll definitely knock out a lot of those weeds. Even though when you buy your grass seeds on the
Right.
back of the label, every amount of grass seeds has a certain amount of noxious weeds on the back.
Right.
It'll tell you it'll be 1%, it'll be 2%.
Correct.
So the better grade seeds you buy,
Right.
the less noxious weeds you'll have in there.
Right. So again, I guess you kind of get what you pay for, so to speak, when it comes to that, right?
Definitely.
All right, now, of course, now we're going to do a little transition ourselves, and we're going to go from talking about your lawn to actually how to maybe do some pruning and how to kind of spruce some things up around the yard. So let's move over to a different area right now. All right, Marcus, now we're going to talk about pruning. Now, I guess that's something really you can do all times of the year.
Not necessarily.
Oh,
It
really?
depends
Okay.
on the tree species. Like this one,
Yes.
particularly the Bradford pear,
Yes.
this is kind of out of season for that.
Right.
If the tree is already flowered, you don't really want to necessarily prune.
Right.
But the homeowner will let me kind of demonstrate on their
Okay,
tree,
all right.
which is a good thing.
Right.
So I'm just going to show a couple pruning techniques.
Yes.
Most of the time when you see a tree, like if you think about it in your head when you're pruning, how you want the overall shape of the tree to be.
Right.
If you want it to be an overall just kind of a V shape,
Right.
or a big bowl shape, that's how you're going to prune it.
Right.
Basically, out of season like this, the main time that you only prune is if there's any kind of storm damage,
Right.
or if you see a couple branches rubbing up against each other.
Right.
You want to prevent that.
Now, when you prune, certainly you're doing it for aesthetics, you know, how everything's going to look and feel, but also you want to make sure you keep the health of the tree or the plant or whatever in your thoughts, correct?
Definitely.
Okay.
You definitely want to make sure if there's any kind of broken branches, you want to go ahead and automatically get those away.
Yeah.
Because those are taking nutrients from the plant that they could be using.
Okay. All right, Marcus, well, I'm going to let you kind of take it away and show us here.
For time's sake, I'm just going to use, when you use a chainsaw, you're supposed to be using the proper equipment.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm just doing a couple of small cuts,
Yes.
I'm just going to go ahead and do it.
Okay.
And you want to take it, you want to start underneath first.
Again, you said underneath and then over the top.
Yeah, so you don't. The reason you do that is so you don't pinch your chainsaw.
Got it.
Because if you try to go all the way up, what's going to happen is the branch is going to collapse on itself
Right.
and it's going to pinch on the blade.
Okay.
This second one, the same thing. And over time.
Now, you talk about using proper safety equipment, and I know for the demonstration, I want to make sure we stress the fact that it was a quick demonstration, but to show what kind of equipment or precautions you want to take.
You would have the lever straps, and this what it is if you have any kind of kickback.
Right.
And the chainsaw, if you're cutting it in a vertical manner like
Yes.
this, so if you have any kickback and it cuts, it wouldn't cut your leg, it
Correct.
would cut the straps.
Right.
You would need the same thing to kind of, it's kind of like a What you would wear to cook, except for it's made of leather, so
Right.
in case you had any kickback,
Yes.
it would protect you. You would have long sleeves on,
Right.
and you would also have on gloves.
And what about
Eye protection always, also, and ear protection.
That's true,
because the chainsaw is
It's a
extremely
little bit
loud.
loud. We just
But
experienced that a little bit. But
if
yeah.
you have some smaller branches,
That's correct.
what you would use is something like this,
Mm-hmm.
loppers, and it's basically to determine what kind of cutting tool you would use.
Yes.
Will be determined by the diameter
Right.
of a branch.
Correct.
This would be a little too large for the cut with
Right.
the loppers, because you'd be out there all day. I mean, you could get it done with some loppers.
Takes a
but
couple of different
it would
efforts.
take-
I've used those at my house before, and you realize when you take it on too much of a challenge there. So yeah,
Definitely.
I gotcha. Now again, you talk about the technique from the top and the bottom. How close do you want to actually cut it to the tree when you're considering those things? Do you need to factor that into as far
You
as
also need to factor that in. If you have something, if you have a ball, if you have like a bud right there, you want to kind of cut closer at a 45-degree angle, so to still be able to get some nutrients.
Okay.
If you cut at a sharper angle,
Yes.
it'll dry out quickly.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to transition over to a crepe myrtle, correct?
Yes.
And talk about some pruning techniques involving that plant. Now we're talking crepe myrtles, and again, you've already kind of done some pruning here, but when you have this type of a tree and situation, what are some things to consider, and I guess talk about some of the work that you've already done?
Well, what I've done is, this tree had been pruned in about a year, and what I did was I went ahead and took out all the lower lining branches.
Right.
I took off some of the small branches like this. You can kind of just break these off.
Sure.
And just put them to the side, and you can definitely pick them up later. What I also did was I made sure that I made it the overall shape that the owner wanted.
That's right.
Some people will, and they call it Crape Myrtle. A lot of people use that term.
Right.
I can even take it or leave it. What they'll do is they'll actually cut off all of these also.
So all you're
When
gonna
it
have is
comes-
almost like a bunch of stumps or sticks.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
They some people it's in different circles that said that that's gonna help it bloom for next year.
Yeah.
Either way, it's gonna bloom regardless.
Right. Okay. Now
But-
again, with some of the cutting, you've used the lopper for
Yeah,
this
the
type of
lopper, because
situation?
like again, the diameter of these branches
Yes.
are gonna be a lot thinner, so you can get them in one quick swipe.
Okay.
This is about as large as the branches they're gonna get. This
Gotcha, yeah.
and this, you would need something like a handsaw.
Correct.
You wouldn't need a chainsaw. That'd be kind of overkill.
Overkill, yeah, for that. But again, like you said, you're taking into account the shape that you're trying to achieve and kind of molding it to that. And I know some of us can get out there and get a little lopper friendly and start just hacking at it, and then you wind up with the situation you talked at the crepe myrtle,
Yep.
which is an interesting term. Never heard that before, but I will think about that next time I do some gardening at home. But again, I guess here again, you long and straight and kind of more toward the top, where again you're cleaning out the bottom.
If you wanted more of a bush shape,
Yes.
what you would do is you would take the terminal bud out. The terminal bud is going to be the highest node up at the top.
Right.
And if you do that, the tree is going to stop growing upwards, and it's just going to grow outwards.
Got it. Okay. Now we're going to talk about some mulching techniques, and we're going to transition to yet another area to do that. All right, now we're getting down and dirty, literally. Mark is talking about mulch, and again, you already kind of pre-mulched this area that we're looking at here, but we're not only going to talk about the mulch, but also about how to do some planting within it, correct?
Yes,
So if you want to kind of talk about kind of the philosophy about using mulch at this time of year and kind of what you're doing other than perhaps beautification, any other reasons and theories behind using it?
The reason to use mulch this time of year is to get ready for warmth. I mean, you have to make sure the plants can be warm once we have their first frost.
Yep.
Another big reason, if you see right there that I have the mulch pulled away from the tree,
Yes.
you want the mulch to be away from the tree so that the flare of a tree, which is what extends out this way, is actually exposed.
Got it.
Because it's not supposed to be underground, because it is still a part of the trunk.
Right.
It's not like the roots, so it can't withstand mold. I mean, it
Gotcha.
can't withstand more
You don't want to
moisture.
block that off, which again would damage your tree.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you're planting, again, we have, what are these right here in front of me? I'm sorry.
These are going to be mums.
Mums, all right?
Yep.
So now when we're planting up this situation, we're using a mum. We got our garden trowel.
Yep.
And again, what do we want to do? What are some things you want to do when you're down here kind of getting everything prepared?
If you're going to do it after you've mulched, you want to push the mulch away,
Okay.
and you want to get down till you get to the dirt.
All right.
And then you want to dig with your trellis, with your trowel, and you want to get down till you get a good, decent depth of soil out of the way.
Okay.
And then once you do that, you want to take your plant out of the pot, taking it at the base, and using the other hand to pull it out.
All right.
And once you do that, you want to break up this root ball
Okay.
so you can get the roots acclimated to their new surrounding.
Now, do you need to worry about losing any of the dirt? Like
You can hold it in one hand.
You can. Okay. All right.
Push it to the side,
All right.
and then push that root ball down in there.
All right.
Get it nice and decent down in there, and break up the rest of the root ball off the top,
Gotcha.
and just kind of give it a good
All right.
pushing down.
Yes, sir.
And then bring the mulch back around, but don't bring it around so it smothers the plant.
Right.
Just enough around it so it'll be secure.
Gotcha.
And there you have it.
All right, so I did okay?
You did great.
I mean, I was a little deep here, just making sure I don't want this one to live. You know,
You
I don't want
did
to have you
great.
unbalanced here with losing one here. Now, when you're picking out mulch, anything to consider as far as obviously there's different colors, different variety.
Yes.
Some perhaps maybe more pet friendly or other things like that. But your thoughts?
They have inorganic and organic. Or your inorganic would be your rocks. Your organic would be like you're using newspaper,
Right.
using bark, using pine straw. And with the mulches, you want to go at least, if you're doing mulch like this,
Yes.
3 inches deep.
Okay.
If you're doing pine straw, you want to go at least 6 inches deep because you want to account for it settling.
Got it. Because again, that's going to mat itself down over time. Where this might be a little more firm up there.
And they even have some new mulch coming about. If you're worried about weeds, they
Yeah.
have mulch that already has herbicide in it.
Okay.
So it's going to help inhibit weed growth.
Right.
And that's another reason that you use mulch
Right.
all times a year, is to try to inhibit weed growth.
Right.
Also, a lot of people, what they'll do is they put a layer of black plastic underneath of this.
Yeah.
That kind of help with that, or a kind of weed inhibitor mesh.
Okay. All right, well, Marcus, you've given us a lot of great tips today. Now, if someone's watching the program, maybe want to get a hold of you to get some more great information, what's a good contact number for them to reach out to you for?
757-514-4332.
Okay, and again, that's at the Cooperative Extension Office, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, good deal. Marcus, thank you for being with us today. Appreciate everything.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks for the gloves as well. As far as we deal with the mulch, you said there. But again, we'll have more on the scene next time. But again, think about some of these things when you're out there in your lawn and garden, getting everything prepared for the fall and the winter. Some great tips to consider. And again, if you need more information, contact Marcus here. Be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching this edition of On the Scene. We'll see you next time.